Hey, welcome to another episode of the Black Guy Who Tips podcast. I'm your host, Rod, joined as always by my partner in talking shit,
Karen.
and we're live on a Sunday, ready to do some podcasting.
Yes.
Find us everywhere you get podcasts. Search the Black Guy Who Tips will come up. The official weapon of the show is
The folding chair.
the unofficial sport,
Bullet ball.
a bullet ball extreme. Don't forget, Black Friday sale is going on right now. You can go to our website, theblackguywhotips.com.
Yes, Black
right there on the
Friday.
front.
We got the sales like everybody else.
It's right there on the front page. If you signed up last year, it automatically renews unless you turn it off. So if you want to keep renew, just you don't gotta do nothing. If you want to turn it off, just go to your PayPal and turn it off. Then also holiday cards. So the blackouttips.com/about. That's our mailing address if you want to send us a holiday card. But also, if you want a holiday card, send us an email with your address in it. And look, let me just say, if you make it less headache for me if you put it in the right format. And y'all know what I mean. Some of y'all send like one whole sentence with everything, no commas, no spaces, all that stuff. And I tried my best to go in there and make them right for everybody. But, you know, it takes me, it's a little less work if I can just copy and paste it. So keep it in mind.
Yeah.
Put your name and your address the way we learned in elementary.
Yeah, and for those of you outside of the United States.
Yeah, fuck you. Yeah, if you outside the United States, don't worry about it. Okay, you ain't getting nothing.
Well, damn. Come on now. Calm down, buddy.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Karen.
Buddy,
sorry.
yes.
I got worked up. Go ahead.
No problem. For those of you outside of the United States that might not know how our system is, you do your name, you do your address, then you do your state, your state, and then your zip code. That's how it is.
That wasn't helpful, Karen. That they might not even have states where they from. It's other people places is different than ours.
That's true.
So just Google it. Google how to write the address American style. Because I don't know what y'all shit is. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody's stuff not the same. You know, I've had to mail these things out in the past, and some of y'all stuff is wild. Just, you know what I'm saying? I hope it get there. You know,
we hope it get there.
But anyway,
if it get caught up in customs, ain't got nothing to do with us.
Yeah, ain't got nothing to do with us. That's not our fault. We tried our best.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a limited amount. Like we have I think I ordered like 100. Mm-hmm. So if we get more than 100, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But as of right now, you know, first 100 come, first 100 serve. So just keep that in mind for everything, you know, when it comes to that. All right. Let's see what else to talk about. I think that's the show notes. Yeah, that's the show notes for now. I was trying to think if there was another thing on my Black Friday holiday sale. Oh, we have an Amazon wish list as well.
We do.
And it's in the show notes of every episode. But if you want to like give us something through the Amazon wish list, you can do that. All you gotta do is click on it and pick some things off our list. And we did get some stuff. I forgot to bring it up yesterday on our 3-hour feedback show. But we got some stuff from let me make sure I got everything right here. Because I think different stuff goes with different ones. So Katie, aka Katrina, says, "Dear Rod and Kay, I heard you mention on the feedback show the 4th of November plans for a new reading journey to help work through the blockage you have from that activity. Enjoy the process." Smiley face emoji from Katie and Katrina. And she sent books, okay? And I believe it's her book, Katie and Powell, Stories of Black Female Identity in the Making, Queering the Love in Blackness, Black Studies Collector, editor Christopher McCauley. So, you know, Karen, I know you've been trying to get your read on.
Yay, I'll be reading.
And I hope, I think that might be it for that one. Let me just make sure, because I know another person sent us something, and I don't want to get y'all stuff confused and whatnot, but, you know, it's kind of hard to keep track. But we also got a gift that just says, "Enjoy your gift from KP." So I'm not sure who KP is. Oh, wait, it's probably her. Katie and Powell, right? That's her name, right?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe she sent us 2 gifts. Okay, and then the other one is we got, because these are from our thing. Rebecca Traister, All the Single Ladies, Unmarried Women in the Rise of the Independent Nation.
Oh,
It's another
shit
book.
now.
And also, this must just been from the list. Flex Arc Lighter, which I love these lighters. Okay, I love. If you know anything about me, I burn candles and incense constantly.
This is a candle burning bitch. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yes, I am. I'm a candle burning bitch. Okay, right now during the show, every episode we do, I burn candle.
Yeah.
While we're talking.
I mean, I ain't hating on you, but I'm just letting them know that
it's
you
totally,
are serious about your candle burning.
I respect it. I understand it, and don't bother me at all. And I love me an arc lighter like this because it's really good for candles, especially when your candles get low and you really got to reach in there. Because if you got to use like a regular big lighter or you got to use like a match, hey man, it's touch and go. I don't know how people do that. Like I could try to turn sideways sometimes, but even then, I got these big old black man hands and shit. These, the hands of my ancestors and stuff, and it can't get all the way down to the candle all the time.
You got them thick cotton picking hands.
Yeah. So thank you.
And child, I be trying sometimes, and I just give up because I like those type of lighters versus the where you gotta strike the match and stuff like that. Because I've never learned how to strike a match. I know I'm grown, but I be like, fuck you in the package you came in on lighter where you got to strike the match.
Well, definitely give up and stop trying. That's smart. But that's what technology is for, guys.
Yes,
for
that's
us
what
to be
technology
able
is for.
To plug this in, charge it, and I already have one that's getting old that I need to get rid of. So you just replace mine. Thank you so much. And it's that easy.
So you trying to tell me I need to sit down and practice?
No, I didn't tell you anything. I didn't say anything. It's that easy.
Like
and you guys can you see our list. You can always contribute by sending us stuff. We appreciate y'all. They take the time out to do that because y'all don't have to, and we don't demand it, but it's nice when you do. It's nice when you do.
Thank you.
All right, let's get into I guess we need to do some banter. Then I'm gonna play another one later and be like, that's my favorite one. Anyway, Karen Banter, go ahead, do you think?
Roger Crowder has talked about this before, but we have an air fryer that has an app with it, and I love it. It is actually really, really neat. Because with our air fryer, you have to preheat the air fryer. Well, you don't have to, but I prefer to preheat the air fryer. It actually cooks better with it preheated versus just going in straight cold turkey. The other one, you go cold turkey in and not make a difference. I don't know, why some you got to preheat and why some you don't. But this one, they say preheat, kind of following the instructions, so I do. And I like that app. It when you download it and you get everything hooked up, you can actually go in and be like, I want you to preheat, and you look on your phone and it counts it down and lets you know when it's ready. You can put your food in there and it counts it down and it lets you know when it's ready. It's very, very convenient. I like it a lot. When you go in the app, you can see all types of different things you can stick in your air fryer. They have all types of recipes in there and stuff like that. I don't know if all air fryers have this, but the kind we have does. So if you got an air fryer, look and Google to see if it has the app. And it might actually have an app associated with the maker of the air fryer. That's something that most people probably don't consider. Most people just manually use it because that's most of the time for air fryers, that's how it's presented to the public. They don't really push or promote like the apps and all these extra things you could do. Or before, we had like an app with our thermometer, but that's for the thermometer. That's not actually for the air fryer itself. And so for the meat thermometer, it just tells you that the meat's ready. It's time to flip. But this is actually for the air fryer itself. So if you're out there and you like us and you like, I got an air fryer, Google the make and the model and see if you got an app to make life easier for you.
All right. Well, it was advertised on the box. I just wasn't paying attention, but it had it's called a Kasori air fryer, 5.8 quart Kasori Pro or something like that. I got it off of Target maybe a year ago. But yeah, it comes with Wi-Fi, and I would always see the Wi-Fi
Blinking.
thing blinking whenever I plugged it in, and I'll be like, I wonder what that's about. Turns out you can connect it to your Wi-Fi, connect it to the app. And you can use the app to control the temperatures. There's recipes in there and stuff like that too. So you can be like, because I'm always Googling before I cook something in the air fryer. Sometimes just to remind myself to be like, okay, so broccoli, 20 minutes at 380 degrees. All right, cool. And with this, you can just go in the app and be like, oh, I want to air fry some broccoli. And it's like, all right, cool. You want to preheat it? Boom. All right. Well, it should take about 15 minutes at this much time. Boom. And and so you can keep up with it that way. And yeah, it is cool.
It's neat and it's convenient. Also, I know, and this one is like kind of is kind of me talking about myself kind of in that third person. For me, I really do, and I'm grateful and I'm thankful for everybody that's been, kind of reaching out to me as they hear or have heard, me on Drapetomaniacs. And even to today, what's wild is I'm the type of person that when I shower somebody with love, I always go, "You gonna get this love? You gonna take this love?" Like I come on strong. Like you gonna get what I got to give you. I don't care if you want it or not. Here goes my love for you. I'm pouring it over you. I'm showering you with the accolades that you deserve. Because a lot of people don't get it throughout their lives, and for some people, depending on your personality, you actually need that. And it's not even for the big things. Sometimes it's for the small things that we do and we take for granted a lot of times. I know for me, I try my best whenever Roger cooks or, does something for me, I consistently tell him thank you, because I don't want him to ever think that the things that he does for me are not appreciated. And I know people don't think twice about that, but when you have somebody that is consistently doing that blind work, that work that everybody just looks up and is done, and nobody ever considers how it gets done, sometimes that person wants to be appreciated for that work. They do it, quote unquote, out of love and things like that, but it's still labor. Like it's still labor. It's still something sometimes they're sacrificing to do. Sometimes when they might not feel like to all the time, you might not feel like it. So I do that, but I realize it's kind of hard for me to process compliments. I'm better than I used to. Now I just go, okay, thank you. When I used to be the type of person, but like, no, don't do it. Like, and for me to even come this far is something else, to just learn how to embrace the words that people are saying and believe the words that people are saying are true about me. Because like, I love to show love, but receiving that love back in return sometimes is a very hard thing for me to process, because it's like you don't think about yourself in that way. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, you just do shit. I just do what I do, and it is what I do. Okay, the end. But when people go, "Hey, I recognize that," or "You did a good job," or doing some form of a praise, sometimes it's kind of hard for me to process, and particularly being a Black woman and growing up where in a society that consistently wants you to be small, wants you to shrink yourself, wants you not to be seen, wants you not to, because if you start talking about the shit you did, all of a sudden you fucking bragging. When men do this bullshit all the time, they go down their fucking laundry list of the bullshit that they do, even if they don't deserve it, even if it's somebody else's work stolen, they will puff their chest and let you know what the fuck they've done. But, a lot of times women aren't kind of trained like that. So a lot of times when compliments are poured upon us, we have a tendency to reject it. We have a tendency to downplay it. And a lot of times, for a lot of women, the things that they have done and the things that they have accomplished are a lot of times bigger and more better than some of the people in the room, even some of their bosses, managers, and supervisors. But because we try to downplay a lot of things, this is, not to go on a tangent, but sometimes this is why it's kind of hard for us to get promotions and things like that, because, it's one of the things where, we don't actually embrace the things that we have kind of accomplished. So that's something that I'm kind of mentally going through. I don't know if you've ever had to deal with this, but this is something that I've kind of processed.
Yeah, I don't know about it as relating to it as a man. I think it's different for everybody, and there's a lot of men that suffer from the same thing. I think especially in America, which is set up as like a patriarchal white male, white supremacist society, everybody who is not, fitting that description often struggles with confidence and stuff. I think we also highlight the people that have a lot of confidence and make them the example for everybody. But there's a lot of imposter syndrome. There's a lot of especially when it comes to the money, the confidence, and the just ability for people to see you as a contributing person. I think a lot of people deal with that. You could be a straight white dude, but broke or some shit, and you feel like, even when you come up, you feel a certain way because capitalism in America has really been framed, and I talk about this a lot, but it's been framed as like even the people that are critics of it accept certain premises when they want to, which is this idea of like, you earned your money belongs to you. If you have money, you're better in some ways, you're smarter, you're richer, you're more talented. Not that these things are never true. A lot of times they are. Like, part of the reason Beyonce has more money than a lot of people is because she is more talented, or maybe she did work harder in some areas that other people didn't. But also, you got to get lucky. Also, you need like the society to view you a certain way. Things have to break a certain way for people, and often when things break that way, and you end up being the lucky one that made it into the room or whatever, even if you earned your spot, there's a level of guilt or something there that pushes it down to be like, oh no, I'm not that special. And I struggle with that sometimes, more about the fact that I want people to understand that I think I'm dope. I just don't think I'm the only dope person in the world. And I think there's a lot of dope people that just didn't get the opportunity I got. But yeah, I also feel like getting into game theory, writing for Drapetomaniacs, doing all the stuff we've done with this podcast, there's a level of confidence I have now that I just didn't have back then. And to a certain extent, I do feel like some of the stuff I do, I'm better than people at, and I've earned that right to say that, and I have the evidence to prove that. And what becomes interesting for me is the more I know it, the less I care about proving it. So if someone gives me a compliment, I appreciate the compliment and all that stuff as well. But to me, I think I'm past thinking so much about like what kind of people deserve, or how they feel like they earn their spot and shit. Because it's like, if I know I earn mine, and I know I'm good, and I know I've seen other people's work at that level and been like, I can either do that or I'm better than that already. And I, to a certain extent, I'm just getting started. So, we worked hard on your voice acting for that episode. So I knew when we sent it off that you would be getting a lot of love for it. And it was really, really good. And the whole product at Drapetomaniacs is good. So I knew they would put you in a position to shine. And so I'm not surprised, but I never let that knock back the point of taking in the praise, because you worked hard and you deserve that praise.
Yeah, and sometimes I'm like I said, I try to keep a balance on that, because it's one of those things where like you say, my goal, like you say, my goal isn't to quote unquote prove anybody wrong. It's just like, hey, this is just something. And I think I've come a long way. Even with doing this podcast, I've come a long way as far as being bold enough to take a challenge and step into a realm that I'm unfamiliar with. I think for a lot of people, they might be good at certain things, but it's not something they were familiar with, or not something they was raised up on, or something that people downplay, that they're not really confident in it, so they won't even attempt to step into or go into something. And I guess,
yeah, but I think with voice acting, you're not unfamiliar, and it's not a new realm for you. We've actually been doing this for years, so it's not, people just might not have known that. It's like how people might not know I'm a good writer, or people might not know, how funny I am. So they just didn't know. It's not I don't walk around with it on my chest, but I know I can do the shit. And so, I think the difference is not it's confidence and not arrogance. And I know it's
Yes.
borderline
Okay.
on that, but yeah,
Mhm.
you should definitely be able to accept a compliment. And I think, some of my favorite, funniest, most talented, smartest people that I know have issues with this. And, I know a lot of it is around race and gender and orientation and stuff. And, I think the thing, this banter is going too long, but the thing basically is you need to advocate for yourself the way you advocate for your friends and all these other people. You're the most, forcing positivity on people in a way to where, so
I believe in people. I'm like, you can do it, baby. You can do it.
Yeah. So if you don't do it for yourself, then you're failing yourself. And you would, never let somebody, like not feel complimented and loved in your presence. So I just don't, I just think you have to fight to transfer that energy to yourself, because I think it's, I don't even like hearing my friends talk bad on themselves. It's just, I don't like that shit, just because the world is already doing that enough when we don't deserve it. So, I love that people are writing in and complimenting.
Yeah, and I appreciate that, y'all. And I thank you very much, because it meant a lot to me. Like I said, we put a lot of hard work in it, and it meant a lot, to me. And I started processing how I was processing it. And that's what made me come up with that random thought. Like how was I kind of processing this energy? And you right, the same cheerleader I am for other people, I am a cheerleader for myself, but I need to learn how to cheer harder for myself, kind of within, because like I said, I've come a long way on a lot of things, as far as, like I said, the podcast, and as far as voice acting. I said, when I started with Dexter, came a long way, podcast came a long way, me constructing jokes, I've came a long way. So I am going to continue to work that muscle and exercise that muscle until that muscle is like breathing. You know how you automatically breathe and you automatically blink your eyes and you automatically move yourself. That's how I want the love for myself to be my own personal cheerleader, to the fact that I don't have to think twice about it, and not in an arrogant way, but in a way that I have enough self-confidence to know that I know that this is something that I can do, and there's nothing or no one that can stop me but myself. So I'm going to continue to work that muscle until I get to that point about it. And the last random thought I have is, I am so happy for the first time in my life with my mama being older. My aunt who raised me, for those of you that might not know, for my mama being older, I, had talked to her the other day, because she called. I talked to her the other day about being older, and we talked about things that we when I was younger, we probably never would have talked about. Like, we talked about premenopause, and she was joking about it and things like that. And that was for me, it was very heartwarming that I could actually have a conversation like that with her in her older age. Something that, when she was going through, she might not even understood that's what she was going through or what she was experiencing. But I appreciate talking to her, about it, and us making jokes about it, and, her talking about being much older, than me. She's like 84, 85, and talking about how the body changes and things like that. And I appreciate that conversation, because I feel like 20, 30 years ago, this is the conversation we would have never had. And so for me, I am thankful for a shift and a change in a relationship as she is getting older. And also, I think as people get older, they get softer. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but they just get softer. They've lived life, they've experienced things, they've learned from their mistakes and things like that, and they're not as hard, like the outer shell of themselves. Not all older people, but the outer shell is not as hard sometimes. And so it's easier to penetrate and have real conversations with them. So I appreciate that.
I know you just wanted to hurry up and die, Karen. Okay, I've heard what
No, I did not say that.
I listened to what you just said about old people, and I'm disgusted. And I'm offended.
I need to go back and play the tape. That is not what I said.
Okay, you know what? Actually, I was looking at my phone. I might have been looking at something. My bad.
You was not paying attention.
I'm sorry. I just assumed you said that. You know how y'all.
Child, don't let me have to do a little snippet on you going back and playing the episode to let people know I didn't say that, so.
All right, I would do my banter, but no, Karen. It's already like 30 minutes into the episode. Let's move into some news. People didn't come to hear that. They came to hear.
I to hear it.
Well, we can do it tomorrow. It's
Okay.
what's it gonna do? An hour of banter, and then we gotta get more voicemails and shit. It's fine. We'll do it another day.
Okay.
All right. So I think the biggest news is Diddy. Puff Daddy, this happened. We talked about it behind the paywall for y'all that
Yes.
don't get behind the paywall. We talked about it when it happened because it literally like this news lawsuit dropped. The news of this lawsuit dropped, and the New York Times wrote an article about it. And I want to say it was like Thursday, and we were about to do Balls Deep in a couple of hours. And so I just went ahead and read the whole thing, just so I wouldn't be on the air just talking. I know most podcasts kind of do that and whatnot, but I was like, let me at least read the article because there's a lot of either misinformation or people being very vague because they don't know what's in the article or they just saw the headline. So what's interesting is that this lawsuit comes out like Thursday, and this shit was settled Friday. Like that is extremely unusual. Like that you do not see that very often. Damn, motherfuckers are like, yeah, let's go ahead and wrap this one up.
Quicker than a hurry. And it was a civil suit.
Yeah, it's a civil lawsuit. So it was never like a criminal thing where he was gonna go to jail possibly.
Right.
Although I don't really know all the rules around like New York State and how they can prosecute stuff. But if it's any indication like Trump, where he lost a civil suit about being a rapist, but never faced like a criminal suit about the same thing. At any rate, it was gonna be a civil suit, and it was like alleging a lot of stuff. Like, oh my god, it was talking about sexual assault. Obviously, it's. I mean, I don't know how you could have avoided hearing about this as far as like
unless just wasn't online.
If this is like you didn't even know about this, like I don't know where you've been because it was everywhere. And at the same time I know that it's very disturbing stuff in here, so just obviously if you can't handle that kind of stuff, I understand you got to skip what we're about to talk about. But yeah, so she accused him of sexual assault. She accused him of I believe she was like 19 when they got together. She says he was extremely like domineering, physically assaulted her, very jealous, like beat her like for like people looking at her type of shit. One of the major revelations was she believed that he had Kid Cudi's car blown up or set on fire or something while it was in his driveway. And it was right after he had threatened to blow up Kid Cudi's car because her and Kid Cudi were seeing each other and he didn't like that shit. And when they reached out to Kid Cudi's representatives, Kid Cudi confirmed that the car fire thing that happened in his driveway did happen. That is a real thing. So which is, that's pretty significant. It was, early 2012. He grew so angry about her dating the rapper Kid Cudi that he said he would blow up the rapper's car. Around that time, Kid Cudi's car exploded in his driveway. Through a spokeswoman, Kid Cudi confirms Miss Ventura's account that he had a car that exploded. This is all true, he said. He also had her engage in what he called freak outs or something like that, or freak offs. And it was he would hire male sex workers to have sex with her while he like watched, and he would sometimes get jealous about it. And she would, like, she said that basically he just supplied her and kept her like drugged up so much, and she would use the drugs to like disassociate from these moments. Because she basically thought these, they were horrific encounters for her, and she did it at his behest. And he also would make videos of them, record them, and he would later say like, I delete the videos. But one time when they were on a flight, according allegedly all this stuff, he played the video on the flight so like one of the videos that was supposed to be deleted, he had, which is obviously intimates a level of like, it's definitely a threat to a public figure. It's a threat to anybody, but definitely a public figure, because like I have this evidence of these tapes. Everybody doesn't know the context of this is an abusive relationship, or I'm recording you and telling you I didn't. And then, so if you ever say or do something to me and these tapes just happen to leak, and to think that kind of thing can be held over your head forever. Cassie ended up like leaving him eventually, but after, she said, basically 10 years in, he sexually assaulted her, and then that was the last straw or whatever. She left. So she ends up leaving. She's married. She has 2 kids. She's in a new relationship. And so people are like, why is she suing then? Why? She already moved on. Why she? A couple of reasons. Number one, the statute of limitations for this, which is basically a new Me Too law that happened, is next week. Like, she had to sue now, or she can never ever sue.
Right.
And once I think it would not have been a legal thing. Once it wouldn't have been like a court filing for people to peruse through. I really feel like people would have cared a lot less, because there's a lot of rumor and innuendo around Diddy that you just don't like. So people will say when there's smoke, there's fire, but a lot of innuendo and rumor around him. I've never seen anyone confirm it. I've just heard rumor.
Right.
People treat it as truth. Well, that's the thing. If everyone has a rumor about you, hers would have been added to the piles of rumors. Like, I don't think people would have treated it, because I don't know that people believe all these rumors about Puff Daddy because of the way they actually talk about him and treat him.
Right.
Like, if you truly believe this man was doing these heinous things, I don't know how you then think it's cute when he does a little video, or when he, how it's funny that his kids do blank, or, he shows up at the radio station and get interviewed, and it's going viral. How many people are celebrating his relationship with Carisha? Like, they were celebrating it, and I don't want to hear no bullshit like y'all weren't. I saw it. Y'all were celebrating it. You think it was funny and cute. It was good for her. Even if you had like some misgivings about the age gap, it wasn't like they weren't part of pop culture. People thought that was a funny, like, cool thing that she was a part of. And now, of course, after this information, people are like, what's really going on? Is she safe? Is she dealing with any of this stuff? I don't know if she said anything to address this, but and unfortunately, the way we look at stuff, people are going to expect her to. And if she says anything, if she still chooses to associate with him and like, or says anything in his defense, it's just going to get ugly for her. Because no matter, I think she's like almost 30 or so. It's like, people are, I already saw people saying wild stuff about her, and she hadn't said anything. And they were using that to be like, see, she part of it too. When she gonna be accountable? And which is always wild to me, but still,
right. Which there's no evidence of that. So
okay. Right. So I think those are like, I think that's most of the newsworthy stuff. But they settle. Oh, I know another thing. In this article for the New York Times, Diddy's people basically said, "Oh, this is extortion. She just wants money. She wants $30 million. Cassie's people say if it's just a money thing, she was offered $10 million. Like, she was offered an 8-figure settlement, and she was like, nah, fuck that. Now ultimately it's a civil case. It has to be a money thing.
Yes, sir.
So that's always gonna be used against you in the court of public opinion by a lot of people that kind of don't know much. They'll just be like, see, she just wants some money. But it's literally like, well, this is the recourse I think I can get. I don't think I can get justice of this man going to jail. So I'm gonna have to hurt him in his pockets or to some degree in order to like offset what's going on or the damage that was done to me. So yeah, I think that's a big part of it. No specific details on this settlement have been revealed, but context clues. If she wanted 30, they offered 8 figures or whatever, which means it was at least 10. My guess is she got, you settled this shit in a day with no real extra negotiating, and
she got
no more.
She asked for possibly more.
Yeah, this wasn't. He didn't even wait to do the like thing that a lot of these guys do, which is settle like the day before you go into trial or something, which leads to a prolonged fight in the media. And I think, regardless of how you feel about if it's true or not, I think whatever they were going to try to say to assassinate her character, I just don't think dragging it out for months is going to help them at all. Because the only thing I can see them really saying is, oh, you're going to trust a woman that did a lot of drugs and just is greedy for money? It's like that. Well, that she told us about the drugs, and
they don't make you look good at
we
all.
know that. Yeah, we know that y'all did try to give her some money. So why would you have tried to give her some money if she made all this shit up?
Right.
Of course, now you get to say on Diddy's side, oh well, this doesn't mean that I'm admitting any guilt, which is the whole point of settling something like this.
The whole point of settling
is you can say you're not admitting guilt, but I don't know, would you pay $30 million or somewhere in that area to a person that accused you of something you absolutely didn't do? I don't know. That's a lot of money
and it varies per person.
Yeah,
yes.
And that any person, because at that point any person could come in, and also she got a 10-year relationship, and then there's clips of like young Jock talking about being out with them at the club, and Diddy saw a white woman with half her hair shaved off, and said he liked that hairstyle, so he wants he wanted Cassie to shave half her head off. And Jock was like, for real? Like, are you really gonna do that? And she was like, if that's what he wants. And now people are like, was that one of the signs? Should we have known? But obviously we couldn't have known the extent of all this.
Yeah, because each relationship is very different when it comes to those things. I understand, patriarchy, women's rights, and all this stuff, but every relationship is very, very different. And so, right. There are some relationships where that's fine and everybody's conceding to it. Like you know what I'm saying? Like nothing is going against anybody's will. So if you're in a relationship and things like that happen and everybody's happy and nothing's going against anybody's will, there's nothing that you can be like, ha, that's it. I think people go back after the fact and want to point these things out.
Here's the thing, because I feel like everything I've said is probably something y'all gonna hear somewhere else anyway. But here's the thing I wanted to add that I think is like, let's think about it one step beyond just the general discourse, okay? When Cassie was with Diddy, the amount of speculation and narratives people just made up without knowing anything, I'm just want to take this time to reemphasize, we don't know these people, and celebrities, we don't know these celebrities, and I'm not even saying that in the way that people do where they're trying to like make you assume the worst of every person that's famous. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying we're just guessing.
Right.
Celebrity is basically like a different version of Instagram. People show you their wins. They show you their ups. You very rarely do they want you to see their downs. And at the end of the day, you never know what's going on, because as many rumors as there are about Diddy, there weren't any rumors like this.
Right.
And I think people are sharing stuff now trying to act like, oh, we should have known, or we did know. Some of this stuff is disgusting what people are sharing. Old clips of 50 Cent essentially saying Puff Daddy was gay. And they keep sharing, yeah, he's on the download clips over and over going, 50 knew. What? 50 didn't know shit. 50 Cent just weaponized homophobia.
Yes, and just talking, correct.
Like, you got a dude that's calling this man a fruit pie, and then we supposed to take that and go, yeah, because that means he must have wanted male sex workers to have sex with his girl while he recorded. That must have mean he beats his girl up. You know, that's ridiculous. And I don't know what tropes people think they're getting into with that, but stop and think before you share that dumb shit. But the assumptions I think, because I've never been interested in Puff Daddy's personal life, and I'm not knocking y'all that are. It's just
right.
I think I'm like a year too old, like really a year. Like my peers who are like even a little younger than me seem to have like a level of reverence and connection to him that I just don't have.
I can see that.
To me, he was always the nigga dancing in them videos,
with them shiny ass suits.
He was always like him becoming like a mogul and ripping people off with the Bad Boy label and stuff. That was all just kind of stuff that happened on the periphery of his music career. I never really thought of him as like a rapper because I knew he never wrote his shit.
Right.
And I just maybe it was the fact that I was one of them raucous, most deaf type niggas, but I always had this kind of like shiny suit hip hop with like that's his lane. I'm not really into that lane, right? And I loved when people used to talk shit. When Tupac talked shit about him, when the Locks broke away from Bad Boy and was talking shit on Rough Riders. I love that shit. But I guess what I'm saying is I'm taking credit for this folk hot because I never really had a reason not to like him.
Right.
Like I didn't know he was a bad, like abusive person in relationships. And I don't know anything about him and Kim Porter. I think that was his wife's name who died. His ex-wife died.
No, nothing.
I don't follow his kids. None of this shit. It just didn't matter to me.
Right.
But I did see people talk about it. And you would see these narratives with him and Cassie that would go, and it was just whatever people wanted to serve that day. But it always was confusing to me because it would be either A, why she ain't get married and no kids with him. She fucked up. She wasted all her good years with this old nigga that has no plans on being with her. For real. And people would like use that to shit on her. Men and women. I've seen it. Then there would be the pushback to that, which is why can't a young woman want to be a kept woman and get money and have her bills and shit taken care of? And if she don't, and not even have to worry about having kids or being married to this nigga, maybe that's what she wants out of life. Why don't y'all leave her the fuck alone? She got the freedom to choose. Right. And then I thought that was interesting because when she left and then she did get married, many of the people that had been saying that for years switched over to this idea of like, she played Puff Daddy. She went and got married. Look how fast she got married after she left him. She won. Fuck him. And then was like, wait, so if y'all thought this was a consensual kind of sugar baby situation, why are y'all so mad at the dude? Y'all said it was her choice and she didn't want to get married. So why would that be
still her choice?
Yeah, why wouldn't it still just be she made a different choice, but everything on the outside seems somewhat amicable, whatever, right? So all that points out to me is how little we know, because if all this abuse was happening behind closed doors, none of those narratives were ever right. None of them. Not the empowering ones, not the disempowering ones, not the she should have got married to this nigga. None of that was right. If it's just this man exploited the fact that he signed her to a 10-album record contract at 19. No one does that.
Nobody does that.
No one's ever gonna make 10 albums for any label ever.
Right. Nobody.
Yeah, it like that industry is already exploitative. So if we're just gonna say that, I just think people should relax a little bit on we know what's happening with people, because we really fucking don't.
And we do not, people, I think when things like this come out, there's a lot of anger, a lot of sadness, emotions are kind of all over the place, which I completely understand that. There has been victims of abuse and all types of things. And so you're getting a hodgepodge, a mixture of all those people with all these opinions online. And on top of that, you got the these bitches be lying people, men and women. You got the people that anytime a victim comes out, just believe them no matter what the evidence says. People coming out, and so it's kind of a mixture, right, wrong, or indifferent. But this is what you see online, and so I think you have like a mixture of all these people all talking, and at the end of the day, nobody really knows what happened behind their closed doors. And this happens to people all the time. There are people that where this shit this shit right here could be happening to them, and you would never know. And I think a lot of times people like to use hindsight to kind of be like, and sometimes it might be right, but for a lot of times it's wrong. People trying to piece a matrix together and piece things together that were not there, because a lot of times people don't show signs. People don't tell you.
And I mean, a lot of times that's how people handle sometimes being abused. It's how people handle personal conflict and stuff. And sometimes things that look like it could be abusive aren't. Sometimes things that look like they're what we consider normal are fucked up behind the scenes. I think even when we talk celebrity stuff, we most, I sometimes end up going into this like, well, how much of this is just us projecting? Yes. Because the reality of these situations a lot of times are very far from what these narratives that we create, these stories we have to tell ourselves about these people who are just people at the end of the day. It's the Keke Palmer thing all over again. How many different stories that people tell themselves when things weren't adding up? And then you find out what may have been happening behind the scenes. And it's like, well, actually that fills in a lot of blanks. And it also mostly fills in, we didn't know what the fuck was going on.
Right.
We thought this dude was just like an asshole. And a lot of us thought her taunting him and all this stuff was like, her exerting her, like, I'm better than you and I run this relationship. And come to find out, this man was physically attacking her in her home. Like that's not what people were saying was happening.
Right. And the thing is, a lot of times, because of the shit show online and the shit show that's kind of happening and the back and forth with all these subsections and pieces of subsections that people projecting, this has a lot to do with why a lot of people never come out, because they was like, oh, I don't want to deal with this shit show. Like I don't want to deal with being a victim for some people. I don't want to deal with people telling me it's my fault. I don't want to deal with people telling me I'm lying. I do, I don't want to deal with people, my business being out on the street. I don't want to deal with the judgment. Like, it is a lot to do.
Also, it's a very rich, powerful, famous dude that we've seen how this goes. Like, for the most part, people love these dudes, and especially in blackness and hip hop, we're very protective of the black man. Like, it is what it is. I'm not, some people will feel differently, but facts is facts. Like, when there's a reason that like Russell Simmons is still able to be around hip hop circles right now.
Right.
He could be in Bali, but he's still, at the panels, calling in to the shows. Like, people still cite him and try to interview him and take quotes from him. We're not like, and that's something that could be criminal, which is probably why he ain't coming back to America on the off, where you don't see him just popping up everywhere. But the point being, like, we are very protective of our black male icons, and even and I think people are reflecting on it now in this moment, because Diddy is such a social, he's an institution. And so people are reflecting on like these other artists and doing the math and adding it all up. It's funny to see people pull 50 Cent out as some sort of like, paragon of virtue or just antagonist to Puff Daddy. Right now, 50 Cent news popped up that he won't be facing charges for striking Power 106 host Brianna Moynihan with a microphone.
Ooh.
Yeah, he was performing and she was struck in the head while at a 50 Cent show in Los Angeles back in August. She was standing in the crowd when 50 tossed the microphone. The incident left her with some serious lacerations to the face. She reported the incident to the Los Angeles police. Police decided, basically, they transferred the case, and then they said they're not pressing charges. She's still recovering from that. She talked about her mental health. saying it's a solid 5.5 right now. She thanked everybody on Instagram. She wrote a lengthy statement on Instagram last month as well, thanking those people close to her and saying she need to focus on her physical and mental recovery. And 50's lawyer said that 50 threw the microphone out of frustration with the technical issues, and he didn't mean to hit her. She's also filed a lawsuit against him, although the outcome remains unknown. Then, of course, you had that thing with Rick Ross's baby mom. There's like the shit with, like, you know, some disgusting stuff he says on Instagram and shit. And we treat him still like the jester of hip hop, the royal jester. You like, oh, he's fun. He's always saying something fucked up. We like that he says fucked up shit all the time. And there's like a protection around him, you know? And I think people are looking at, you know, Rick James, James Brown, Marvin Gaye, like they're going through all the list of all the men that have been outed as either like abusive or bad men and shit. And the list is long as fuck.
Yes,
and
it is.
We grew up listening to and worshiping some of these people.
Yes.
And folks are kind of, I don't know what they're even gonna do with it, because I don't even want to give them the credit of saying it's a reckoning, because I truly think when we had the Me Too moment in America, hip hop had a lot of people get called out. I don't think people care.
Agreed.
You know, I think people think it's just part of the culture and that nothing can be done about it or should be done about it. And honestly, I think it's kind of whack that my peers, my fellow black dudes that have platforms or podcasts, the only time I hear them talk about the morals of hip hop is to talk about why Megan Thee Stallion shouldn't be shaking her ass.
Right.
You know, why they tired of pussy rap. Well, here's some shit that it's not pussy rap. And you got this dude in your motherfucking playlist, and you got the CDs in your car or whatever, you know, you like there's a lot of these guys, and they're not dead. And we're, you know, bringing them out for the hip hop turns 50. You know, we like, these are big names, but it's easy to go after Flo Milli because you don't listen to her and you don't care. She's 25 or some shit, 23. Right. You don't give a fuck. But where's the energy for the morality police when it comes to this shit? You don't see it. It's like, that's a damn shame. Anyway, you know, he shouldn't have did that, and that's the end of it. Paula Jai Parker, you know who she is?
Mm-mm.
All right. I
think
wouldn't
we
have known
about her, but I don't remember.
I wouldn't have known either, Karen.
Okay.
Don't feel bad. But Paula Jai Parker is a actress who, I think her most memorable role that I've seen is her as Craig's girlfriend in Friday, the one that was cheating on him.
Okay.
Yeah, so she's questioning Cassie's lawsuit against Diddy. She went on Twitter, and said, as a sexual assault survivor, one would think I get it, but I don't. I was a child looking for nothing from anyone, but y'all called us thirsty for protecting what's mine. But it ain't thirsty when you forget to protect your behind. I'm sorry, but I don't get it. I used to be 19 and I was in the industry and I was quite capable of saying no. You're between a rock and a hard place in this industry. You suffer no matter your choice. So why not choose God? It worked for Jesus.
What? That statement sounds insane.
I wish someone would have said that to 3-year-old me that couldn't say no, but by 19, we are strong enough to make choices that affect the rest of our lives. If you can't say no, you're not built for it. Take that midnight train now before you get yourself in trouble. I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm saying she wasn't complaining about being his woman and the fame that came with it. That what goes on between man and woman is just that. At what point does pleasing your man become all this? Only chicks dating freaky millionaires.
That's all those statements are false. There's broke niggas doing the same bullshit.
I mean, part of this, I think, is you can't see people when you're envious of them.
Right.
You know, you can't see somebody else. So, like, if your mind, you're like, shit, I've been struggling to be as famous and kept and paid as a woman like this, and it never happened for me. So, you know, tough shit. This is the cost of that. You wasn't willing to pay the cost, I guess. Oh, that's right. I forgot. Y'all get caught up in beautiful. You see a pretty little fawn and think Bambi instead of baby demon. I guess she's saying Cassie's a demon. But yes, I believe she deserves compensation. It was like a marriage, and she became accustomed to that lifestyle. After all that stuff she wrote, she did. I don't think he was ever really going to marry her. Ew. Laughing emoji,
got to do it.
Praying emoji, heart emoji, angel emoji. I think y'all just don't like him, but he didn't invent the game. He just plays it. The game of hitting her in her face and kicking her after the game of rape. What are you talking about?
I don't understand.
Hubby thinks I don't like her, but that's not true. I don't like chicks that take the easy route and get mad when it doesn't pan out. How's that the easy route?
What? Getting your ass whooped is the easy route? I'd rather it not happen at all. What are we talking about here?
God bless the child who's got his own. I'm trying so hard to see the victim here, but do sex slaves usually get to pick their partners in 5-star hotel? Should have took the deal. Wasn't it James who tried to tell y'all it's cheaper to keep her? All couples should be evenly yoked, and that includes sexually. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know what got it. I mean, because it's one of those things where I doubt she has a lot of followers and people keeping up with her. So maybe it's just she was the one willing to say the most ignorant shit and ended up getting the most attention, because this is pretty ignorant in my opinion.
Yes, it is.
But also like, this is bound to happen. I talk to my friends about this sometimes when some shit like this pops off, and we'll be in the group text and they're like, oh, I think people are going to see how terrible this is, da, da, da. And I'm always like, yeah, but people are going to also make a defense of the other side.
Of course.
And they're like, but how? And I'm like, because they always fucking do.
Yeah, this is what they do.
And I know the easy out or the obvious out here is to be like, because it's a black woman. But honestly, dog, Amber Heard, Angelina Jolie, people just... Terry Crews. Before Terry Crews started talking that shit.
Right. I said
Terry Crews is just the fact
that's a victim. It don't matter your sexuality. It don't matter your orientation. Don't matter your color nor gender. If you are a victim, somebody's going to come up with an excuse to protect the person that committed the crime.
You know what it makes me wonder is psychologically, because you have to wonder, these patterns are predictable and they happen a lot. And eventually it just becomes like 50-50 almost, got to be two sides. I wonder how much of that is subconsciously people's need to feel in control. So they feel to themselves like, I would have taken different actions than her, so this would have never happened to me.
Yes.
So I wouldn't have to worry about this. So, and keep in mind, this started when she was 19, but it's like this, allegedly, blah, blah, blah. Y'all already know all that. But it's interesting that people always jump to this, because it really just feels like a bolder, bigger version of like, what does she have on?
Yes.
But yeah, it's and I think it's disheartening to think about how much of just, these icons, quote unquote, of hip hop, and all this power and shit, how much people get away with. And I do have specific questions or at least things I'm pondering about who he did and didn't do this shit to. Cause like I think it's easy for me to believe he probably didn't do this shit to J-Lo. We ain't never heard no shit like about this with J-Lo, and she was big in the white way, which offers a level of like belief and protection. And, she left him after that fucking gun incident, and he made 2 songs begging her to come back.
Yes, he did.
It just like motherfuckers know who they can do this shit to and get away with. They know who won't be believed. I think that's a big part of the psychology of it for people that do abusive shit like this. They like, that's why you get so many people that go whenever like, oh, so-and-so did such and such. And then you get people that's like, well, he never did that to me. So, I mean, he couldn't have did it if he didn't do it to me. And I'm like, but they may be looking at the way society values you and being like, I can't do that. I'm not saying he didn't do anything. I don't know.
Right.
But I'm definitely wondering.
Correct.
If he's like, well, this 19-year-old black girl that is essentially people see her as a hot piece of ass. Let's just keep it like that. People weren't like, oh, what an undeniably talented singer. People like, especially during that era of hip hop, everybody was signing these like wispy, light skinned, quote unquote, foreign black women.
Yeah,
it was, every label was trying to get one. And it didn't. And a meal.
Yeah, a lot of
like,
them did not work.
So many of them where it's just like, yeah, whether they blow up or not is not the point. Whether a strong singer performer, not the point.
Right.
We just, all the men were collecting them like Pokemon to see which one was going to level up the strongest and then discard them on the piles of other discarded careers that they had there. And I don't know. It just makes me wonder. Like, it feels like, yeah, you knew you could get this person to do this shit, but you probably couldn't get everybody to do this shit.
Agreed, because what people fail to realize, abusers don't abuse everybody. You have some that do, but most do not. This is why a lot of times when something happens, you always have people who did and they could be telling the truth when they say, I've never seen it. It has never happened in front of me. And people go, you lying. These people could be telling the truth because they don't knock everybody out. They don't whoop everybody's ass. They don't do it to everyone. You know, because if they did, a lot of people are like, yeah, that motherfucker's an asshole, because everybody knows the person is just flat out nasty to everybody. But a lot more people do shit like this, where you always have somebody that quote unquote comes out in their defense and be like, well, I've never seen it. It has never happened to me.
Yeah. So, but that's like the main thing that's been going on. There's also Trump's Truth Social has lost $73 million since the launch. A new filing shows.
Everything that man touches sank.
I also wonder, like, how much of that is even his money? I feel like that's a
investor.
That's a bunch of people trying to harness his chaos and be like, why don't we bring it to this thing? And people will follow him over here, and then that's how we'll make money. It's like, first of all, his most dangerous and biggest thing was the fact that he was on social media as the president saying reckless shit, and then white people that run those places didn't know how to handle it.
Correct.
Because it's like, what do you do when a president's the one stoking the fires of an insurrection? You know, it literally took like him denying. It took January 6th, I believe.
It took January 6th.
It took January 6th for people to be like, oh, this is dangerous. But then him getting banned off of there, going to Truth Social, I still think he probably signed some sort of exclusivity with them, which is why he really ain't go back to Twitter when Elon Musk allowed it.
No, he's bound to a contract.
Yeah, gotta be. Not that he's a nigga that don't break contracts, but I can't think of any reason he actually would have self-control.
He loves that attention, child, please.
But yeah, I'm not surprised they lost a lot of value, because it was anything with him is fool's gold. Speaking of losing value, Univision News anchor Leon Krauze exits the network days after controversial Trump interview.
Univision, ain't that the Spanish channel?
Yeah, Univision.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So basically, it was very controversial. They aired a interview with President Trump in which the Biden administration had bought ads for their airtime.
Okay.
And they basically declined to do the ads at the last minute. Right.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be a problem. Just tell them no up front. Why are you wasting their time?
And so people don't know if he's leaving because in protest of this or something, related to this, because the interview was conducted by a different journalist. And yeah, I don't know if he just doesn't like that they're in bed with Republicans over at Univision. Televisa Univision also co-hosted a Republican primary debate in September, which says a lot because you remember, if y'all know anything about Republican primary debates, they don't go places unless they feel like they can control what's happening over there.
Right.
Like they don't do away games anymore.
Mm-mm.
So they felt like what's happening with the Latino or Spanish community, they feel like that is a home place for them,
Yes,
a accessible place for them. You'll never see a BET Republican. You'll never see it. They don't even do CNN and shit anymore.
Nope.
So it's very interesting what's happening there. And let me correct something from earlier because I just know y'all gonna email me. And I guess it's just proof of what I was saying. I don't keep up with their life like that. Kim Porter was not married to Diddy. She never married him. So just please don't write in. It was a very small detail mistake. My bad. But I just know how people get about this shit because they care about his relationship in public life way more than I've ever cared.
Agreed.
And so my bad. But yeah. At any rate, though, it's interesting that there's fallout over there. Off of, I guess everybody's not on the Trump train over there.
Yes, some of them was like, no.
And that demographic is a demographic that can often go conservative.
Yes, they can.
Yeah, as much as Republicans hate immigrants and want to
pass some fucked up laws.
Yeah, like they still
targeted at them.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, all right, let's move into another section. That was a lot of stuff happening there. Let's see, where should we go next? Maybe man, I don't even know what segment I want to do. Maybe we do some white people news. White people news. Excited to the barbecue, we might be problematic, but it's so really hard on a fragile big city. White people do. Wider news. Let's get into it. Amy Robach and TJ Holmes are launching a podcast.
Guess who's back?
Shout out to
Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back?
Shout out to Olivia Pope. She scandaled. She managed the hell out of this.
Come on.
She got this handle.
Yeah, they out here like make it last forever.
Listen, it's the only way out is through.
Come on.
How's this for Instagram official? # silent no more. Robach 50 captioned a portrait of the pair giddily embracing. The pod will be available everywhere podcasts are heard. Here's my thing. I know it's probably gonna be a podcast about just them talking about the news or whatever, like they did on whatever, like December 5th, Amy and TJ. That's the name of this stuff. I know that's probably just gonna be like a Good Morning America podcast. That's not what I want to hear. I want to hear about that cheating.
And they're not gonna cover it.
I know, but I know I can never get what I want, but if I have my druthers, I don't give a fuck about the news of the day. Unless they gonna keep bringing up how they be fucking. Like, I just need that in my life. I need them to bring up, they can bring up the news of the day and be like, oh, today is National Applesauce Day. Speaking of applesauce, I was all up in your applesauce last night, wasn't I? Oh man. Okay.
I cooked some buns. Speaking of that, I split your buns last night.
Hold on, my ex-wife is texting me. Let me send that to voicemail. Anyway, back to what you were saying, boo thing. I want them to make kissing on the air, everything. I want. Like, if you're going to lean into it being an unprofessional, like, we just doing what we want, be all the way.
Right, because podcasts don't have the same restrictions. Y'all can talk about what you want to talk about.
Remake that Janet Jackson Rolling Stone cover. I think it was Rolling Stone. Where, like, the man was grabbing her titties from behind.
Yeah, covering up her areolas.
Yeah, that should be the cover of y'all podcast is TJ's hands on her titties.
Yeah!
From behind.
That would get my ass to click in a heartbeat.
I want them to be so reckless. I want to tell everybody else secrets backstage. Like, listen. Okay, listen. Robin
I was like, ooh, that was really want me to listen.
Listen, before I tried to holler at her, Robin tried to holler at her. Okay?
Tried to intro be like, anytime.
Let's see what else has happened. A couple behind the world famous Florida Christmas lights display I don't know if you ever seen the Florida Christmas lights display.
I don't think I have. I know we got the McGattonville down here.
Yeah,
up
well,
85.
Okay, well, I'll show you some pictures of it. But look, this is a house, and they've taken it and just Christmased it the fuck out.
God damn, what is that power bill?
Believe
is
in
that
the
a Pizza
magic.
Hut in the Pizza Hut in the background? What is this?
Believe in the magic of Christmas. This is the two people that live there. There's them kissing.
I know
out front.
nobody sleeps in that bitch. Everybody's house would be lit up.
They got people at a party. No black people. So turns out these motherfuckers are squatters.
What?
They lived in the home for 13 years after faking the deed when former Miami Dolphin had to sell.
No wonder why they could do that. All the money they probably would have paid in mortgage, they spent it in lights.
Mark and Kathy Hyatt were widely praised for their over-the-top holiday decorations, which spread festive cheer at their home in Plantation Acres.
No, isn't that the Plantation Park?
You know, Plantation Acres. They love a plantation down there.
I hate slavery.
But yeah, so but the pair who divorced in 2017 have been accused of taking over the property without buying it or taking out a mortgage after a Miami Dolphins player was forced to sell. Yeah, they said that a team of property appraiser detectives found the Hyatt family wrongfully occupied the home following a 7-month investigation. Kathy told investigators that Mark, who died in 2020 at age 56, drew up the 2005 deed for the home using cut and paste and changed the locks of the home and threw out its contents.
What?
The colonizer gene is strong in him.
Woo! He was like, "This is mine." Did he plant a flag too?
She claims she had information about the 2005 deed, resulting in the highest unlawful ownership of the subject property. The home was initially owned by a former Miami Dolphin player, Brett Perriman, in 1998, but he failed to pay his $400,000 mortgage and it was facing repossession. He then took out a second mortgage for $585,000 to pay the first, but defaulted again. He and his wife left the property in 2004. A private investigator then paid $50,000 of the original mortgage before changing the locks, setting up an alarm, and working on the house with the idea to flip it for a profit.
Okay.
But a paperwork mix-up meant he was handed the wrong document, which the Hyatts were able to take further advantage of. Mark and Kathy were looking for a home at the time and came across the house in the upscale Plantation Acres neighborhood. She spoke to investigators at the property appraiser's office and said it was a vacant and looked abandoned. Kathy claimed the couple got in contact with the former owner, Perriman, who agreed to sell it for $900,000, but Mark, who worked as a mortgage officer, realized that he did not have a valid deed anymore. She added that the ex-husband called the police and accused the investor of squatting. Mark received an email in August 2005 from the former plantation police chief who said he believed that some type of fraud had occurred and may still be occurring with respect to the property. So they knew in 2005 and it's 2023.
The caucasity.
Oh, good to be white.
Ain't it though? And nobody came and be like, "Get your ass out of here until we can prove that you don't own this property." I mean, that you own this property.
Right.
With the right white man, we can do anything.
Wow.
Wow, this is a big ass it one.
Yeah. Oh my God. It's just the levels of caucasity.
Right. Passing by the offices, waving at them and shit, knowing you ain't paid nobody's sales tax, nobody's property tax. You ain't taking out nobody's insurance. All your neighbors around paying bukus of money, or either it's passed down from generation to generation. Child, know what? Like I said, that's why y'all could afford the lights.
Right. That's why they can take compliments. Because they didn't earn the house or the compliments.
They didn't own none of it. Earn none of it.
She said Mark used a locksmith to change the locks, told the alarm company that he was with the mortgage company when it went off. What Mark was surprised about was that they never called the police. They just believed it.
They white.
Of course they believed it.
With the right white man, we can do anything.
Right. Come on. I can't believe they believed it. You really can't. You can't believe.
Right. That's why niggas be having all their paperwork and ducks in the row. Cause they be like, oh, I know you gonna check.
Not them.
Why do you need white man paperwork?
Mm-hmm. That's why they get some of them get these jobs. And they be like, you never went to these schools. Like, you gotta lose your job.
He meant that literally. Why do you need white man paperwork?
Why?
When they were like, hey, what's going on with the mortgage papers?
So what do you suggest?
I suggest you just keep playing, man, and don't worry about what goes on at the top of things.
I feel like that's what he
Come
said.
on.
What Mark was surprised about, they never called the police. We threw out the living room, we threw out the kitchen, we threw out everything in the refrigerator. Mark said we had to discard any evidence of him so he could not come back and say he did have possession before we arrived. Well, we broke in. I've never done that before in my life. We never paid any money to occupy. We were squatters. The investors decided to call the police, but Mark showed the police the false deed he prepared. The plantation police advised this was a civil matter and left. Police love to do that one. Well, guess my name is Paul, and that's between y'all.
Right. They was like, we got too much other shit to do. All right, y'all got it.
Yep. They said they tried to buy the home legitimately, but Perryman was not the owner, and we already sold our house, and we had nowhere to go. Oh, call me a fucking river. They're like, we tried to buy the home, so we just stole it. Once that fell through, we
was like, well, we might as well go legit. Wait a minute, we can't go legit. Well, I guess we're gonna keep squatting.
I mean, what was he supposed to do? Find another house and actually pay for it in a legal way? How we gonna afford our Christmas lights?
And they would have never got caught because nobody would have ever gave a fuck.
The way that they set up the Christmas lights is diabolically genius. Cause who the fuck gonna think somebody squatting in a house with all them goddamn lights?
Yes!
Shit look like Disney World. Of course you think they own it. You like, well, who would?
They throwing parties and shit. That's how you can afford the parties and shit. All y'all neighbors gonna be sad. They're like, oh, no more parties.
And a huge it wine, right? Because you know, if some niggas just moved in. I told
you it's a big ass it wine.
If some niggas moved in legally.
Yes.
They would.
Every day they'd have been like, do you live here? Can we see your deed? Are you sure you at the right address? Can I see your driver's license? What school do your kids attend?
You know, we have an ordinance about Christmas lights. You can only put up 2 lights every year. Y'all,
and we actually,
you notice you put up 2.5.
And we really mean 2. Just 2.
We notice you put up 2.5 lights, and we just think you need to come on down to the HOA. We need to talk to you. Whew, my God. Oh, it must be so good.
Yes, it's great.
UTVW.
Yes, sir.
Carrie Russell is barefoot as she steps outside her Brooklyn brownstone to talk to a man during her firewood delivery. Well, nothing says white like stepping out onto the New York pavement with no fucking shoes or socks.
Nasty ass pavement.
Nothing says white like that. Okay.
When people walk around like their dogs poop on it, no thank you.
She skipped footwear. She stepped outside of her Brooklyn brownstone to collect the firewood delivery this week. The 47-year-old diplomat actress who recently spoke about launching her career was dressed comfortably in black joggers and a white crew neck sweatshirt. The mother of 3 pulled her blonde highlighted hair into a low, messy bun for a brief moment outdoors. She was seen chatting with a delivery guy who wore a long-sleeve black shirt and jeans. The former Felicity star had a pair of eyeglasses tucked into the collar of her top as she slipped her hands to her pockets of her pants. Oh, Lord, no, Carrie, come on, girl.
Yeah, no slip-ons, like
Carrie.
Flip-flops.
Was it an emergency firewood delivery, Carrie? What's going on? Is everything okay? Ooh, my goodness. She was also makeup free as she conversed near the stairs. Well, that would have been, I mean, you can't hold that against her. If she had on no shoes, but her face was beat to the gods, I'm like, what's up with your priorities?
Right.
Like that, if you don't have no shoes on, I mean, she probably had no bra on, no drawers, no makeup. Right. No, she ain't brush her teeth. Like, maybe she going through some things. I don't know. So yeah, she's out here doing the most, doing white stuff. Mm-hmm. And we love to see it.
We love to see it. Ain't this so much more relaxing? Hey, we lucky we got 'em.
Listen, this is much better than that Cassie news.
Ain't it though? I'd rather talk about somebody walking outside barefooted on New York Street any day.
I'll probably forget who Carrie Russell is in a few minutes.
Of course, I don't think I ever watched that one episode of Felicity.
Kyle Richards hits the beach with rumored lover Morgan Wade in Malibu after estranged husband Mauricio Amansky held hands with Emma Slater. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I ain't never heard of any of the people involved in this.
Nobody. I don't know if they're actors, singers, performers. I have no idea who these people are.
I hate to say it. I hope I don't sound ridiculous. I don't know who this man is. I mean, he could be walking down the street. I wouldn't know a thing. Sorry to this man.
All right, Ken, if you had to guess, Kyle Richards, what does Kyle Richards do for a living? I don't know the answer, by the way. We're both guessing.
Kyle Richards, I would say a lot of times they're either singing and acting.
Okay, so you're hedging your bets. You're trying to take 2 for 1.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm going to say NASCAR driver.
Oh, that's a good one.
Rumored lover Morgan Wade. What would you say, Morgan Wade? What do you think Morgan Wade does for a living? I don't know the gender. I guess we'll find out in a second. Could be a woman, though. Kyle Richards hits the beach with rumored lover Morgan Wade.
Morgan Wade. Television star.
I'm going to say country music.
Oh, that's good, too.
Morgan Wade feels like a country. Okay, after estranged husband Mauricio Umansky held hands with Emma Slater. Mauricio Umansky. What does that sound like to you?
Mauricio Umansky. Somebody single.
Okay, I'm gonna say Russian diplomat. And Emma Slater.
That's an actress.
I'm gonna say actress. I'm gonna say actress just because all the other Emmas.
That's what I'm about to say. All the other Emmas is actresses.
She one of them Emmas.
Emma Stone.
You know them Emmas.
Yes.
Them Emmas love to act. All right, so let's get into the article. Kyle Richards hit the beach with her rumored lover Morgan Wade as news emerged of her estranged. So Kyle is a woman as well. Okay, 2 women Kyles I know now. Her estranged husband Mauricio Umansky may be more than just dance partners with Emma Slater. The reality star 54, who has vehemently denied being in a lesbian affair with Wade. Okay, so reality star for the first one. We didn't get that right.
No.
Lesbian affair with Wade, 28. 54 and 28. Hey, I guess people don't say much about it if you in the LGBTQ community. I feel like the straights have to give it a pass because we know how much foul shit we be getting away with. But
right.
54-28 is wild. She was spotted enjoying the oceanfront in Malibu on Monday with the country singer. I got one right.
Yes, you did. Come on through, country singer.
She had that feeling.
Yeah, you said it sounded like a country singer.
Morgan Wade feel like a country singing name. Oh my God. That's what I'm fucking talking. Let's go. Okay. Don't tell me I don't know my honkies. Okay. She strolled down the beach in her trainers while her toned arms were put on display in a fitted white tank. Morgan was spotted by a parked car clad in a black 930 shirt. 930, that's a time.
And that's a brand.
It's a type of shirt, or is it a brand?
I'm assuming 930 is a brand. You know we don't be knowing.
I know. That's 930 shirt. Oh, okay. I guess so. Oh, you must gotta have money to have these. I don't know.
Yeah, you know.
Well, these are just shirts from Shopify that have the 930 on them. That's not the same thing.
I don't know. You probably click them shits. Them t-shirts be like $500, the softest cotton you ever felt in your life. Feel like clouds.
It's too rich for my blood. I don't know nothing about it.
Child, yes. They say 9:30. I'm going the time, and everybody started laughing at me like I'm the dumbass.
It all comes as Kyle's estranged husband Mauricio is spotted holding hands with Dancing with the Stars performance. So Emma is a dancer.
I got that.
So
wrong.
We both got that wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think any of us had dancer. Following the dinner date in Beverly Hills, but Kyle walked off whatever feelings she was experiencing as she hit the sand in her rugged footwear. She swung her arms as she made her way through the terrain with the emerald green Malibu hat protecting her from the sunshine. Her hair was worn down, and she drew eyes to her toned legs with black leggings. Mauricio, 53, and Emma, 34, everybody's robbing the cradle these days, are currently partnered up with Dancing with the Stars. They appeared more than just friends during the nearly 3-hour-long date on Sunday. The duo was seen kissing at the bar by insiders who saw the pair at the restaurant. Emma was also seen leaning on Mauricio as they walked outside, and she appeared to wrap an arm around him. I feel like dating your partner on Dancing with the Stars probably happens more than people think.
Yes, I can see that.
Because you're talking about celebrities.
Talking about everybody's fine, everybody's fit.
Right. You're talking about celebrities, and then you're talking about dancers. Dancers are obviously one of the top finest kinds of people on the planet.
They in tip-top
and
shape.
Then the celebrities are celebrities.
Yes.
So they coming in with the money and the fame, and I can see that probably happens a lot. I don't watch the show, so I'm guessing. Insiders told the site the stars had a deep conversation which largely focused on what their next Dancing with the Stars dance is. That's not a deep conversation. What you gonna do, the cha-cha? Oh man, you so deep. Oh, kiss me again. Let's start a podcast and leave our wives. On Tuesday, the contestants will pay tribute to their most memorable year on the dance floor. Oh, it is a 9:30 shirt with the time on it. What? Oh. What the fuck is happening?
Right? Okay, I thought it was a brand, so I am right. I bet you them bitches is like, this 9:30 shirt is $500. I'm trying to tell you,
man, the
ain't got nothing but time on it. What is there something special about 9:30?
I don't know.
Okay.
During dinner, Mauricio described why 1996 holds such a special place in his heart. He's like, you won't remember this because you were 5. But for me, as a grown-ass man, that was when the Chronic dropped. So your boy was living it up, okay? Right. What, you don't know what the Chronic is? The duo felt more connected and closer than ever before, which evidently led to a PDA display. TMZ sources were unable to definitively say whether or not a romance was blossoming between the pair. So, all right, there you go, guys. All right, whites are living it up.
Yeah, they is.
Good for them. Somebody should be living it up.
Living your best life.
Mm-hmm. Somebody should be living it up. The clearest evidence yet of the Loch Ness Monster existence has been caught on camera, Karen.
I guess. That and E.T.?
Got
some Magua too?
All this technological advancement we made.
You know what they got?
We ain't found Bigfoot or the Loch Ness Monster definitively yet.
Oh, you know what they got? They got Roger the Alien.
Yeah, I mean, but even I'm just trying to understand how we have motion detecting cameras. We can see underwater. Motherfuckers looked for a submarine and found it when it imploded. That little ass submarine, they found that shit.
Yes, they did.
Took them a little while, but they found it. We still are looking at grainy, like, is that a turtle or the Loch Ness Monster pictures? Look at this shit. That could just be a glimmer off the water. I'm assuming it's supposed to be this.
That could be a person drowning. I don't know.
That could be a stick.
We don't know.
Why are we who the fuck is running Big Loch Ness, and why are we letting them get away with this?
I don't
playing
know.
In our face,
taking them white folks' money.
I guarantee you, it's just whoever runs Loch Ness tours.
Yes,
they go look and see if they got a motherfucking like stick. They got
a stake in it. They personally invested.
They throw a log in the water like once every 6 years and take a grainy. No, further back, grainier. We have iPhones now that have such clarity. We got motherfucking those Samsung Galaxy phones take pictures at night like it's the daytime.
Yes.
We still looking at grainy,
we got
long distance pictures of the Loch Ness allegedly monster.
I don't believe you. You have phones now. Some of them Samsung phones, you take pictures, you be like, damn, is that the moon? Like, this shit is so sharp, but yeah, we can't, get out of here.
The Leprechaun came to the hood and we made a whole movie out of it. You motherfuckers can't get one good picture of the goddamn Loch Ness Monster?
We don't believe you.
What is going on, white folks?
Big Loch Ness.
Tommy Lee reveals he drank 2 gallons of vodka a day, shot Jack Daniels with syringe when out of cocaine.
God damn, I would say that's an addiction.
Rock and roll people be living forever. They just be like, yeah, I don't know how I'm here either.
They live life to the edge.
He's 61. He offered up this revelation during a chat with comedian Bill Maher on the latest episode of his Club Random podcast. Lee shared that he and his Motley Crue bandmates had no control over their alcohol intake during the heady days of their fame in the 1980s. He said late entertainment legend Sammy Davis Jr. told him the hardest part about becoming sober was getting up in the morning and knowing that's as good as I'm going to feel all day. Alcohol is just such a fucking weird one too, because it's easy to fall in love with the way it makes you feel, the way it makes you relax. Then all of a sudden you're like, fuck, I'm drinking 2 gallons of vodka a day. You're trying to kill yourself now.
2 gallons, that's child, that's more than the average. Don't they tell you to drink like
No.
like I'm about to say that's more than the average amount
People
of
can't
water.
drink 2 gallons of water a day.
No.
2 gallons of vodka, man.
Yeah, it's hard to get people to drink 64 ounces of water.
Right.
Shit, what was you pissing out? Fire?
Lee said
Goddamn.
his behavior went on for a long time. Adding that he and his bandmate Nikki Sixx ran out of cocaine and they would shoot Jack Daniels in with a syringe. It was quicker, faster, louder, and harder. We would do that shit all the time. We run out of coke. Well, let's shoot some Jack.
Talking about Jack Jenner at the bottle? You talking about Jack Jenner you get for the goddamn ABC store?
I think the part for me is y'all pulled out needles. Which definitely mean y'all do heroin. Because who can keep spare needles around? It's got to be the same heroin needles that y'all been using.
I know y'all wasn't going to the doctor. The doctor would be like, they do them blood tests. They be like, yeah, your blood test came out like 98.6% alcohol. Like, sir, you're going to die tomorrow.
You got to really be out of here to be thinking that far out the box and be like, bro, I can't even wait for the alcohol to get into my stomach.
Right? This alcohol is too slow. Put it in my back. Bitch, I'd have never thought of that.
Shoot that shit into my heart like Pulp Fiction.
Woo, child.
Like I need the direct alcohol effects immediately.
That's an addiction.
Woo. Oh, but he's still here. We love to see that. He sobered up 4 years ago. He described his liver as being on crutches, barely functioning during this era.
You don't say.
Yeah.
That poor liver been crying for decades.
It's like, what I do to you? What's going on out there?
I'm trying. Can you please, like I'm gonna start shutting down. Like, I mean, damn, I done got to your 50s. Come on now, you got to give me a break.
Oh no, the kidneys is leaving me. No,
one at a time. What?
All right, that's it for that. Let's do some sword ratchetness and we'll wrap this thing up. We've been going about an hour and a half. Hollywood agent's son arrested for butchering wife had samurai sword collection.
Oh!
Samuel Haskell, the man arrested on suspicion of murder after a woman's torso was found in a dumpster last week.
Oh no! A torso? What is this?
Was reportedly infatuated with weapons, keeping samurai swords, crossbow, and guns in the California home he shared with his wife and in-laws.
Damn, what the other half?
All of those people, the wife and in-laws, remain missing on Tuesday. Haskell, the 35-year-old son of a once prominent agent to the stars, also had a fixation bordering on obsession for martial arts. His next-door neighbor told the New York Post, El Banami, said that Haskell's wife, May Lee Haskell, whose butchered remains police believe were the ones found in the plastic bag last Wednesday, didn't approve of the weapons. Yeah, no shit.
Right?
I know May didn't like having those things inside the house, and she wanted him to get rid of them. I'm telling y'all, leave. You gotta leave, because these motherfuckers with swords, it's just one day. They be cool, they be seem cool and everything.
Ain't got nobody's training.
Yeah,
from the first. Don't know how to properly use them.
We had people on the podcast. They be cool then, but I expect to be reading about them one day. Benami's daughter heard one of the family's children scream. My daughter said she heard a scream, help, help, hello. The neighbor recounted, and then she heard a car door slam, screeching the tires, and a car driving off. Oh my goodness. Woo. Oh my goodness.
So that means he chopped her in half.
Mm-hmm. The victims haven't been seen since. The victims haven't been seen since November 6th. So yeah, it's just sad stuff. Okay. Watch out for yourself. These swords.
Watch out.
All right, y'all. That's it. We'll be back throughout the week. I think tomorrow we're actually gonna have off because we're going to a Hornets game.
Yay!
So we'll probably be back Tuesday and Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sorry, but I'll share my banter Tuesday or Wednesday or
Okay.
whenever there's time.
I took up too much of the time, y'all.
It's all right. It's fine. It's fine. We just want to keep people happy to listen to the show. We don't need no problems. All right, y'all. Until next time, I love you.
I love you too. Mwah.
Bye, everybody.